interception of the bull nose. You can see that curvy bit along the outside. Kind of does the signature slope of the roof. That is the only curved piece of metal on this building. And yeah, and these were all custom designed, fits together like a puzzle piece, each one into the next. And it's a very complex, never before done type of construction. And so on this side, the east side, is where the astronauts, the Virgin customers, will be. On the bottom floor and the south side is where the restaurant. There's going to be an industrial kitchen that will service the customers, their friends and family. In the middle of the bottom floor is where the friends and family lounge will be. On the north side, on the bottom floor, is the revival area. And that is where customers returning from space will be able to kind of ponder the mysteries of the universe and life before rejoining society after having been up to space. On the second floor is where the mission control will be, right in the center of the second floor. Can't really see it very well with the reflection, but that is going to be the room with all of the mission control folks running flight operations, flight safety, ground operations, controlling the emergency response. All of the coordination will happen from this room, and it will be filled with more gratuitous technology that you can shake a stick at, and it will look really very impressive. Because you know you need to make sure that you put on a good show for folks. On the third floor is actually going to be the best bar in the state of New Mexico.
Oh!
That is going to be the Astronaut Lounge, and that is going to be the most exclusive location on the site.
And that's not open today.
No, that was you didn't buy that ticket today. It's an upcharge on the tour. Sorry.
But I lost it. Yeah, I lost it. I lost it.
But that is on the east side. The central zone is the hangar, and so actually, if you were to look at the facility, there's an eastern zone, a hangar, and then a western zone, and a bridge that connects the two on the third floor that overshoots the hangar. And inside the hangar, there will be 2 White Knight 2s and 5 Spaceship 2s. So if you saw the animation the other day. So the White Knight 2 is the carrier aircraft. It's a 140-foot long wingspan. It's a carbon composite. It's extremely light, very high tensile strength, stronger than steel. And it only takes 2 people, 1 on each end, to lift the entire wing box structure. It's extremely light. It's half a football field long. And 2 of those will be in there, and 5 spaceships. Spaceship 2. So they tend to have a lot of spaceships because they intend to fly a lot. In the initial state, they're intending to have operation probably on maybe every week, every other week kind of basis. As they ramp up, they will start operating multiple times a week, then every single day, then multiple times a day, eventually getting to 3 times every single day, weather permitting. And so the turnaround, they want to make sure that they have a fleet in order to service the demand.
They'll just change them out and have the next one ready to go when they come in.
Yeah, the White Knight 2 runs on aviation fuel, on jet engine. So it's just like any other aircraft. You know, a 737 pulls in at the gate, 45 minutes later it's ready to go again. So White Knight 2 will be similar in turnaround to commercial aviation. The spaceships take longer because they're using exotic fuels and there are all sorts of precautions. They need to make sure that everything is safe and ready to go before they turn it around. So they're going to need multiple vehicles for that. And on the west side of the building, that is where the operational mechanical plant of the facility, that's where all the earth tubes come in and the HVAC system, the boilers, and all of the controls that help us monitor all the rest of the infrastructure. It's a smart infrastructure grid that we have here, and we can monitor the performance of every wastewater treatment plant, the fuel storage area, everything from a central control area on the second floor and the west side.
individual cars can drive up and they can come inside, or would it be by bus only?
The way that we're envisioning this, because of our sensitivity to the environment and all the work that we've done to maintain our FAA license, one of the agreements that we made with the folks at the BLM, the State Land Office, the trail preservationists, all these consulting parties, was that we would try and reduce the amount of cars coming out to the spaceport, reduce the amount of traffic, the number of vehicle crossings of the El Camino Real Trail. And so, as a result of that, what we devised is a strategy to have off-site welcome centers. So you drive, it's off of I-25, you drive to the welcome center, you park your car, you get on official transportation, and you go out to the spaceport. Yes?
Now, traffic now, is that pollution control?
It serves a number of objectives. So it's environmental, it's operational, for security purposes, and also it's just in the long run, I think it will be more convenient for the visitor as well. So, any other questions? Yeah. So from the south, it's about 27 miles, and 24 of those are primitive dirt road. Well, we're working on paving that with Doñana County now, and so hopefully, if things progress as we're hoping, it'll be by the end of next year we'll have that road paved. Yeah, we're looking at one on each gateway, so to speak. If you're coming from the south, if you're coming from the north, to have dual transportation hubs. Yes, they're already looking at option areas. As a matter of fact, the area around the terminal hangar facility, Virgin is talking about potentially looking at more facilities, but I can't really comment on what exactly their plans are. But yeah, they do want to. Yeah, they do want to expand because they're already realizing that they may want to be able to do more maintenance activity out here. The vehicles are being developed in Mojave right now, and when they're done their flight test program, they will come here and begin commercial operations. Any other questions before we move on? So we're in the horizontal area. By horizontal, we mean takeoff like this, like a plane. Vertical, Buck Rogers space shuttle from the ground straight up. So vertical launch area is 5 miles that way, and I mentioned that hill over there, that's Prizer Hill, that's right next to the vertical launch area. That's where all 8 launches have taken place so far at Spaceport America. And the horizontal launch area is for a certain type of vehicle, like Virgin's, like potentially some other, there are other rocket-powered vehicles such as the X-4 Lynx, for instance, uses a runway takeoff. They don't do what Virgin does, where it's a plane and then flies up to altitude, they drop the spaceship and launch from the air. X-4 actually turns on the rocket on the runway and just powers off with rocket power. So there's all sorts of vehicle designs that can use this type of infrastructure. There's also vertical launched vehicles. They take off straight up, but then they land on a runway. So there's a lot of versatility in what we've built here, and there's a lot of interest on the part of military customers, for instance, in using this runway for purposes that have nothing to do with space. And so there can be other business lines for the state in order to get incremental revenue. For instance, we have a company coming out to do helicopter testing. Actually, in a couple weeks, they're going to be bringing out a whole operation, camping out for a couple months, and doing testing on the runway. That, hey, it's this big, beautiful slab of concrete. It's available for a price. And companies are taking notice. Absolutely. the question is, why go to space? Is it just about tourism? Is there any other application for it for here? And the answer is absolutely. There's the near-term market of space tourism. It's what gets the press. It's what is flashy, and people think, oh, my favorite reality TV stars and billionaires will be going on joyrides. But that's not what this is about. There are other applications. For instance, Virgin Galactic just signed an agreement, a contractual agreement with Southwest Research Institute for upper atmospheric testing out of Spaceport America. They want to be doing climate science research in the upper atmosphere. But they can't do this whole portion of the atmosphere that they call there's the troposphere, there's the mesosphere, there's the ionosphere, etc., the stratosphere. They call it the ignorosphere because people don't know anything about it because they're either too low or they're too high. There's this whole swath of the atmosphere that we don't know anything about. And you can reach that with these vehicles, suborbital vehicles. So there's a lot of interest to study the upper atmosphere, for instance. There are applications that we're looking at for agricultural monitoring. There's defense, national security related applications where you can pop up for surveillance purposes or for strategic eventually. When they get to point-to-point applications for strategic cargo and personnel delivery to far-flung destinations. There's applications, of course, for education, giving access to students and to teachers for science, technology, engineering, and math. The cheaper it is to space, the more often you can go to space, and the more often you can go to space, the more you can get students excited. The problem today is people say, oh, let me build something and go to space. Well, you build it, sits on a shelf for 9 years, and then the kid's already graduated and has a family by the time the thing launches. So if you can build something, launch it, get the data back, and figure out what you wanted in the same semester, that's incredible. That's mind-blowing, and that's actually useful. So these kinds of things, there's a lot of application for these vehicles, and of course, the next stage, we're suborbital. We want to go orbital for light satellite deployment. We think that's the future of satellite development, and that'll all be happening here. So I know we're baking a little bit out here in the sun, so we can probably get back on the bus. We've got a little bit more to talk about.
Australia.
I don't know if you guys wanted a group photo or anything like that.
Yes, please.
Get between me and the...
Everyone around Sharon.
Come, my children.
Right behind the line.